Oroscia L.
It's your boy Ojizz on the track.
And you are officially tuned in to Living in the Moment with Let Us Live magazine.
Tonight I'm getting turned, and this club finna get burnt. Watch her do a handstand, got her turned out. Dressed to kill, so I pull up in a hearse now. Holla at my hip man, Jizzy for the work now. If you ain't with me, you can't get me on a verse now. Cause I am not that pushover you heard about. I murdered thousands of serpents with words of Malcolm. I X'd out the middleman and decided to kill again, but only if I feel like it. Cause otherwise you'll find me sipping Coronas on your couch. Quarantining right in your house, yeah.
Hello, I'm Oroscia L, and thank you for tuning in to Living in the Moment with Let Us Live magazine. I have a very special guest with us here today, music producer and owner of OnTheTrak Music, Ojizz.
What's going on, everybody?
How are you, sir?
How you doing?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. We are so excited to have you here today. I just want to go ahead for all of our viewers, all of your fans, and get started. Tell me, how did you come up with the name Ojizz?
Okay, well, that was actually in that era. I think it was the 2000s era where everybody was an Izzle. So you had Snoop Dogg coming out with the for shizzle, dizzle, all that stuff for real. So, like, my friends used to call me Ojizzle. So, like, as I went on, you know, in my career, I kind of like just chopped that off and just kept the Ojizz part.
Yes.
Because it just flowed better.
Yes.
So that's how I came up with the name Ojizz. It just stuck from my childhood name all the way to now.
I love it. What does it actually mean to you to hear people call you that now on such a larger scale?
Well, it just stuck. Well, for everybody that don't know, my first name is Oren. That's why that's where you get the O.
Yes.
Then, you know, my middle name starts with a J, which is James. I'm named after both of my grandfathers. So, like, that's where the whole OJ came from, and then Ojizz. But now, you know, it's became a brand as far as my producer tag. As soon as you hear that, everybody knows, yeah, it's about to heat up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, your accent is very thick, right? So you are representing Baltimore, Maryland, correct?
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Shout out to Baltimore. With that being said, tell me, how was it growing up? Let's get into your childhood. How was it growing up in Baltimore, Maryland? How do you think it shaped who you are today?
Definitely shaped who I am today. As far as, you know, my parents and everything, they raised me to the best of their ability.
Yes.
They did everything they could to make sure that I had everything that I needed, that I would stay out of trouble and everything. They really did good with both me and my sister, you know, amongst the surroundings that we were in.
Yes.
You know, like, we didn't come up having a lot, you know, so we made do with what we have, and I use that to my everyday life right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about having so much. You know, you deal with so many things on a daily basis. That's why it's so good to just deal with the things that you have, you know, and make the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, you know, even right now, you know, people go on my Instagram and think, oh, yeah, you doing this, that. Like, yeah, I'm maybe doing a little something, but it took a minute.
Yeah.
You know, it took a minute to get there. So it's just a thing of, I'm just thankful for my parents to even, you know, accept everything that I do now.
Yes.
And, you know, all shouts out to my parents. Love you, Mom.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So speaking of your childhood, throughout my research, I was able to find out that you actually started making beats in your basement.
Yeah.
So can we talk about that? Can we talk about the moment that you were kind of telling your parents, this is what I want to do, and all the way leading to where you are now?
Yeah, started when I was 14 years old, just making beats in my parents' basement. And they really didn't know what was going on at that time. You know, to be honest, I didn't know what was going on. I just found something that I liked and I just kept doing it. Until after high school, that's when I actually knew that this is what I wanted to do. So I went to audio engineering school and just learned more on the technical side of production and audio engineering and things of that sort. And after that, I mean, I started learning from just my peers, everybody that I knew that had studios.
Yes.
I would go to their studios and just vibe and look at how they were doing things, how they were mixing and mastering certain things. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. So, I mean, from a kid growing up in Baltimore, in the hood, you know, making beats in the basement to making tracks for indie and also major artists.
Yes.
you know, and I'm just so thankful for that.
Absolutely.
You know, humble beginnings.
Yes.
Definitely.
What was that moment like for your parents? Do you remember kind of telling them, hey, I'm interested in this. This is what I want to do. What's that support?
They were
like?
supportive.
Yeah.
They were supportive for the most part. Like I said, like when I was coming up, they didn't really know much about what was going on as far as music production. Of course, you always get to think, is it a lucrative career and things of that sort, you know? But to be honest, like, yes, it is. It can be, but you just got to be able to tap into that later on, you know? It ain't gonna come overnight. Yeah. You know, everybody has to grind.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's where it was. And I always got the thing, you know, don't be a starving artist and things of that sort. I mean, shoot, hey, you gotta get out how you live. You gotta grind.
Absolutely.
You know, you're gonna be starving sometimes. I mean, hey, but that's what makes it even better when you start to reap the rewards from, you know, all the hard work that you put in.
Absolutely. Are you able to talk about that, right? So you mentioned starving artists. You mentioned kind of the grind until you get to your level, right?
Yeah.
Can you share us any moments? And I'm asking that to hopefully inspire those artists that may be going through that right now.
Definitely. Like, I mean, it's been times where, like, I had, like, $5 to my name for real. Wow. You know, and then you just hoping and praying, like, yo, I hope something come through, or somebody even buy this beat, or, you know, somebody reach out to me or something. You know, it's so many things that go on in your head. And then you start to think, like, well, is this really for me? Are people really feeling me? Are people digging it and everything? And then you start to kind of like second guess yourself in a sense. But, you know, that's one thing that you should not do. Don't go down that rabbit hole of starting to second guess yourself, because then that can lead you to somewhere that you don't want to be. Depression, you know, other things, stress, you know, it's a lot of things that can happen. And that has happened to me through my journey, you know, getting to the point where, yes, I'm sick, but at the same time, like, I don't need that added stress. And I have been in the hospital just for stress alone, you know. So all I can say to anybody, you know, like, yes, you're going to have those times where you may want to give up, but don't. That's the thing. You got to keep at it, you know, because I know it may sound cliche, but you just cannot give up, especially nowadays. Because, I mean, hey, we got the greatest thing of technology right now. Yes. You know, and it's so many things you can do with it, and especially with the internet. Yes. You know, that is the greatest tool, you know, to get anywhere right now. A lot of my placements have been just from just meeting people on the internet. So, you know, yeah, hasn't been easy. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just thankful. Like, now I'm able to say, yo, I did it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We're happy for that as well. So tell me about the moment that kind of turned for you, right? Where you mentioned starving artist to now, boom, I made it. Tell me about the specific first time that you made a track for a specific artist. Okay, well, my actual first industry placement was Lloyd Banks. And that was back in 2009. Yes. Listen, go big or go home, ladies. Yeah. Your first one, Lloyd Banks. Yeah, that was my first industry placement. Like I said, that was back in 2009. Yeah. And that's when the whole mixtape era was going crazy. I mean, the mixtapes was hotter than the albums at that point. You know, and when I got that placement with Lloyd Banks, and it wasn't just one. It was several, about 3 different occasions that he had grabbed tracks from me for 2 different mixtapes. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, then I guess I'm doing something right. Yes, you know? Absolutely. So I was like, yeah. And then even with that, it wasn't always a happy time, because, you know, you got people that want to try to take what you have. And what I mean is people try to claim what you've done. I've had people try to say they made a certain track when they didn't do it, stealing and everything like that. But that's when you have to make sure that your business is right. Absolutely. Your business is correct. Make sure you get them copyrights and everything. Absolutely. Because back then, a lot of that whole stealing stuff was going rampant. It's still going kind of crazy now, but I mean, back then it was even worse. Okay. You know, because you had to really like go and send in the paperwork to the Library of Congress, wait for it to come back and everything like that. Now you can just do that on the internet. Plus, with the laws changing with copyrights, every time that I export a track now, it's timestamped. So I ain't really gotta send it off necessarily. It's timestamped, so that will hold up in the court.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes, look at you. Very smart man. Absolutely.
No, I learned, I wised up.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Understood. Well, how do you stay grounded in the industry?
All right. Well, I'm gonna just be real. I'm a homebody, so I don't really. I'm not impressed by, you know, going to the club and stunting and balling out and all that. That doesn't impress me.
Okay.
You know, like I've gotten invited to so many different things, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, before we started, you asked, you know, what y'all do? Look, we was in a hotel making tracks and stuff like that. That's what we was doing. You know, and the thing is to keep your mind on that goal that you're trying to achieve. You know, because we're at a good level right now, but we're trying to go higher.
Absolutely.
So by me knowing that, I'm not worried about what the next person is trying to do.
Yes.
You know, what they want me to do.
Yes.
No, look, I know what I need to do for myself.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm like, look, I don't care about none of that. I don't look at what people doing on Instagram or nothing like that. I just worry about what I do.
Absolutely.
That's how I stay grounded.
Clearly it's working for you. Clearly.
Definitely.
So with that being said, then, I know that I had the distinct and true pleasure to sit with one of your artists yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Neza. That was a wonderful experience. During the interview, he also shared just wonderful things about you and wonderful things about how you've been able to kind of help and shape and mold his career, and even working on your latest project, My Imaginary Reality.
Right.
Be sure to check that out. Tell me about that process. Tell me about how you are able to see something special in artists and kind of work to pull that out of them.
Well, on this occasion, it was weird. It was backwards. Like, it wasn't the normal, let me listen to this guy and see if he's dope or not. It was one of those things where I heard about him through a mutual friend.
Okay.
And we had linked up at a restaurant, and we had got there before our mutual friend pulled up. So I'm getting the chance to meet him.
Yes.
You know, so anytime that happens, it's always some sort of, like you try to break the ice.
Yes.
Man, it wasn't even like that with Nizza. It was just more so like, yo, you produce, right? Yeah, I produce. And we just started talking about, the programs we use and everything like that. And it was just, it was a mutual respect that we had for one another. By the time we left the restaurant, then I went in the car and I listened to everything that he did. And I was just like, yo, I have no regrets about this meeting, because everything that I've heard was amazing. And I'm like, yo, I don't get impressed by a lot of people. I really don't. You gotta be a spitter for me to really, be engaged in.
Understood.
But once I heard him, and I knew his personality first before I listened to the music. That's what furthered the relationship.
Yes.
And then that led to us doing a couple singles, and then that led on to a whole 20-track album.
Yes.
It was just crazy, and then throughout the process, that's when I started OnTheTrak Music Group. And I was like, yo, we're going to do this. We're going to do this right.
Yes.
And I was like, because I actually had a indie label a long time ago, but things, it just wasn't right. It was too many heads in management that it was just going crazy. People, with their own opinions of what you should do and everything. With this, I was like, yo, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to do this our way.
Yes.
And that's how I carried it, got the paperwork in. And it was a wrap.
Absolutely.
It was a wrap. So yeah, man, Nizza is a monster.
Yes, I know.
Y'all better watch out for this dude.
Yes, absolutely.
He just did a song with freaking Redman, dog. Like, come on, man.
What's up?
Like, come on.
Yes.
So yeah.
How does that feel to own your own label?
It's crazy. Like, I still wake up and put my pants on the same way. I have my own indie label, but it's like, at the same time, I did wake up one day and I was like, yo, I'm a boss, huh?
Literally.
And then I had to, then that led on to me thinking like, yo, okay, let me start doing boss things that bosses do,
Right.
you know. And to be honest, it was just it is a lot of work that's, you know, you have to do as far as, you know, paperwork, taxation, you know, just everything to make Uncle Sam happy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, making him happy before you're happy. Actually, it's crazy the way it is, but at the same time, you know, I'm just thankful to be able to be in a position to actually do that now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and doing that with an artist that is actually good enough, his talents is really putting the label in the forefront.
Absolutely.
And that's what's dope. And the people that I'm affiliated with, you know, not only, you know, NZA, I got my man Tracey Lee, my man Sickle,
Yes.
all these guys are literally like putting all of us into a greater position because we are working.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a beautiful thing.
It's a very beautiful thing. How do you balance it all?
Wow. To be honest, it's not easy because you're dealing with not only the things that you have to deal with on a daily basis, but you got to make sure that your artists are good too. You know, I think I talk to Nessa every single day. Like, it's not a day that it goes by that I'm not making sure that, you know, yo, you're good.
Yeah.
But that's just a common courtesy. You know, I just want to make sure that he's good, you know, before I, you know, because I don't like those delays in communication. Because then people start wondering like, yo, everything good?
Right.
What's going on?
Right.
No, I don't like that, yo. If we cool, yo, you gonna hear from me.
Yes.
That's just how it is, you know. But at the same time, I'm just glad that he, as well, checks on me because he knows that I need that too.
Yes.
You know, and that's what's so dope about it.
Absolutely.
You know, that mutual respect to know, like, yo, I'm just making sure I'm reaching out to you, you know, because you reach out to me.
Absolutely. It's genuine.
Genuine.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And that's definitely what matters. I know that you are big on motivating others. Who motivates you?
The people that I'm around.
Okay.
And that's key.
Okay.
I don't want to be around anybody that's not going to be a motivating factor for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I could be around people that give no value to my life, but who wants to be around people like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that puts a damper on your life, you know, because you'll be the one that's doing everything for them and you don't get anything in return. You know, you don't even get no type of love in return.
Right.
Like, no, I want to be around those that help to motivate me and to know that, look, I'm here for you. So, look, I know you're here for me.
Right.
You know, I can't be around anybody that's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, like, this is definitely a motivated factor. My big brother, Tracey Lee, my big brother, Sickle, you know, my business partner, and so many more people, my parents, you know, all of those people are part of my circle.
Absolutely.
You know, and it may not be a huge circle, but at the same time, it's just enough.
Mm-hmm. I saw on your Instagram that you were giving credits to certain people, a lot of which you have mentioned today, Tracey Lee, NZA, Lloyd Banks. You also mentioned Just Hilarious. I know she's from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Tell me about that connection there.
Well, that was actually a connection through one of my homeboys, Don Trunk. He's a producer in Be More. We call him the Barry Gordy of Baltimore.
Okay, I love it.
For real, the dude is amazing, amazingly talented, and he knows talent when he hears it. We actually placed a few records with Just Hilarious.
Nice.
You know, because she started in her artistry. So we actually placed a couple records with her, and that's why, you know, I give credit to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, hey, you chose my work.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's why I was like, man, shouts to you.
Absolutely. I love it.
You know?
I can tell just in sitting with you and your whole vibe and energy, you're a very humble person.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be, you know, like, people always say that to me. It don't really faze me
Yeah.
a lot, because I just be myself. That's it.
I love it.
I grew up just quiet. Even when I was in high school, I was quiet until I got out of high school. Like learning the business and everything like that. Of course, it's gonna take you out of that shyness. When you are in rooms with people, you have to talk to people and everything like that. And so that kind of trained me to be able to talk to people more.
Absolutely.
And everything like that. So yeah,
Very nice.
definitely.
So I want to dig just a little bit deeper.
Let's go.
So when it comes to something that I know you've been able to overcome daily, right, which is a battle with sickle cell anemia.
Yep.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, for all of our viewers, for those who do not know, can you educate us?
Yeah, sure. Well, for everybody that does not know, sickle cell anemia is a blood disorder. And like normal blood cells, they're round shaped. Our cells are shaped like a half moon. And that causes the cells not to flow through the body properly. And that causes intense pain, strokes, heart attacks, swelling, and even death. Because those cells, by them not being able to flow properly, they get stuck on each other like the game Barrel of Monkeys. They get stuck like this, and that's what causes the problems. And you can. And another thing is organ failure. Okay. That comes along with it. It's a lot to it. Both my sister and I were born with it.
Wow.
Yeah, because my parents, they both had the sickle cell trait.
Okay.
So when two individuals have the trait, the child is 9 times out of 10 is going to come out with the illness.
Understood.
Yeah.
So what was that like growing up with that?
Well, all right. Well, I didn't have my first episode of crisis with sickle cell until I was 3 years old. I had what's called a chest syndrome. Now, chest syndrome is a sickle cell crisis, a bad one that's in the chest. And it may, to some, it may feel like a collapsed lung or something like that. But so I went through that when I was a child. And at that time, it really wasn't a whole lot of, I want to say, treatment for it. So it was a downhill battle with that. Okay. My parents, they actually had to fight in the court because social services, they thought that my parents were abusing me. No. It was like, I'll never see a child like this, so sick and everything. Like, what's going on? Right. But yeah, it got to that point, that level of, they really wanted to take me out of my parents' household because they thought that I was being injured. That's because of their ignorance. They didn't understand the illness. They didn't understand the disease. And so, fortunately, that, none of the judges, they overturned anything. Everything's fine, of course. But just to go through that at a young age was crazy. I remember my mom said that, I looked at her at 3 years old and said, "Mom, life is rough." Like, wow. Like, what kid says that? Yeah. But, I mean, hey, that's just one of those things that happens when you go through something that's life-changing, and that can happen to anyone at any time. Absolutely. And ever since then, it never gets better, like, I can't count on my hands how many times I've been in and out of the hospital, near-death experiences. I'm just thankful that, hey, I've always came out, and every time it's made me stronger. Absolutely. So, yeah, blessings. And I'm just so thankful for God to even, keep me around. Absolutely. Because it's been crazy. Yeah. It's been rough, and again, I want to thank my brothers, Nez and everything, because they made sure that I was good while I was down here. Yes. Like just checking them, yo, you good, you need anything, and stuff like that. And that goes a long way. Absolutely, I'm sure. So, yeah. Very nice. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Oh, yeah, definitely. How do you continue to use your story to kind of inspire others? How important is that to you? It's very important. That's why I go so hard in everything that I do. Yeah. to show everybody else that, yo, you can do this.
Absolutely.
You know, you can do anything you want to do, no matter what anybody says, no matter what, you know, hardships that you have. And I remember I shared with Sarah one time, I said, it's a motto that I go by. It's called the 3 W's. This, do what you can, when you can, while you can. And living by that literally shapes my entire life. You know, because hey, we're not promised today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's so important to do what you can, when you can, while you're still here on earth.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
I love that. And how fitting is that for living in the moment, right? Truly. So I know that
I love
kind of being in the industry for a long time, balancing everything. Again, what advice do you have for those who are looking up to you saying, I want to be just like him?
Well, first of all, kudos to anybody that wants to be like me. You know, I appreciate that. But all I can say is, you know, once again, don't get down on yourself, because it's going to be trials and tribulations. Do anything that you want to do successfully in life.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, never stop learning. There's so many tools out here that you're able to learn from. You know, even if you may not be able to afford college or anything like that, you know, there are people that are literally set here on earth to be able to teach individuals. There's technology, YouTube, different outlets. Never stop learning.
Absolutely.
You know, that helped me out so much in this business, you know, because this business is so fickle, and it will definitely leave you wondering like, yo, I'm about to hang it up.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, you can't let that get you down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because literally, when you think about stopping, that wind is literally peeking right around that corner.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
It really is.
Yeah.
So don't stop.
That's a message.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You know, just like saying right here, live in the moment. You know, don't overthink.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, because when you start to overthink, then you start to doubt, you start to stress, anxiety. You know, take things for what it is. If somebody says no, it only takes one yes.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah. Look, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm like,
It only takes one yes.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. What would you say to date, right? If you were to look back at all the things that you've done thus far, would be your biggest moment? If you had to say, yeah, that might have been the biggest moment, what would you say?
Me and my brother Tracey Lee.
Okay.
That has been the biggest moment. Tracey has become literally like my big brother, and he is literally a legend in hip hop.
Mm.
Of the culture, period, man. Like, yo, he was the last, I believe, you can quote me on this, he was the last feature with Biggie Smalls before he passed.
Wow.
The song Keep Your Hands High. And to be around somebody of that, you know, that legacy, that, you know, that legendary status is just amazing. You know, and you can call him a legend all day, and he'd be like, oh, no, I don't, you know, modest with it. But to be honest, man, I'm just so thankful to be able to work, not only work with him, but to be able to call him my friend, you know, to call him my brother, because he's put me in different situations, and he's opened different doors for me, you know, and that's why I say that he has been he has been probably the biggest influence on my life, you know, as far as this music game has been concerned. And yeah, that was the biggest moment within my career.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What types of things have you learned from him specifically?
First of all, just more about the technical side of the business, because he's an entertainment attorney. You know, he's literally the only lawyer, rap artist in the game.
Nice.
Yes, and that's what's so dope about it. You know, so I learned a lot from him, you know, with that. And also, like, he's put me into different rooms with people like Young Guru, Derek D. Angeletti. It's just a number of folks that I could sit here and mention, but that's all through my man T. Lee. I'm even wearing his shoes right now.
I love it.
These are T. Lee's shoes. Right
Okay.
now, you know.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I put this band on such a high pedestal, because you know it's like, yo, if anybody want to be like anybody, I'm like, yo, that's I want to be like my man T. Lee.
Nice.
You know, family man. He's a hard worker, loves hip hop, loves the culture, and just just a good overall brother.
Absolutely.
Period. He's black.
Hey, say it again.
He is black.
Yes, it matters.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely, for us to be represented, right? Which is why I just love that we do this show. So you've mentioned that he helped you kind of with the technical part, even kind of inspiration enough for you to wear his actual shoes, which I love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What new adventures do you foresee yourself going into?
Wow. Well, just building upon an empire. Like OMG is going to be one of those. Let's say, hey, the next TDE, we coming for you. Watch.
Hey, you heard it here first.
The way.
Absolutely. Okay, so you mentioned earlier, we were talking about legends, and you were talking about Tracey being a legend as well.
Right.
What legacy do you hope to leave the world?
I just want people to see me for who I am. You know, just full transparency. Just like I'm sitting here talking to you, I want people to be, able to look upon their TV screens, their Instagram, whatever it is, and see me for who I am.
Absolutely.
No faking, no fronting. It's just me. That's why you'll see me when I'm in the hospital. I still have my my mini keyboard and my laptop, and I'm working because that's me. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing just because, hey, I'm in the hospital. Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, why would I stop doing what I love? For something that I'm going to have to deal with my whole entire life. It's a part of me, so that's why I don't take anything for granted, just see me for who I am.
That's a powerful message. It really is. It's a powerful message, and that's very inspirational, right? Because we're all human. We all have to go through our different journeys, our different battles, right?
Right.
And I think, you could even say sometimes like the Instagram culture could create this viewpoint that no one has problems, nothing is going on behind the scenes, but we're all ultimately trying to make it, all trying to grind. And then so when we're able to sit with people like yourself who are living examples of grinding and it is happening and they're blowing up, they're here, it's a big deal. And I'm happy that we were able to sit here with you today for our viewers to see that.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a true pleasure. Yeah, it really has. And thank you for your transparency.
Definitely.
Thank you for sitting with LUL Magazine. Once again, it's been a true pleasure.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely. Until next time, everyone, I am your host, Oroscia L. Thank you for tuning in and living in the moment with Let Us Live Magazine.
Get burnt. Watch her do a handstand, got her turned out. Dressed to kill, so I pull up in a hearse now.